NVIDIA says, turn text into music or sound. Take a listen to this.
Fugatto is the latest generative AI breakthrough from NVIDIA. This new model allows you to create sounds, speech, and music from text and audio inputs. You can guide Fugatto to create unexpected sound effects, where familiar sounds take on surprising new qualities and invoke new experiences.
It goes on later, Jim. You can take written music and say, make this sound like an opera singer, scatting, jazz.
We did, yeah. It really is pretty amazing because this is all about what Jensen Huang, the CEO.
And that was his voice, by the way. He's voicing that. I believe that was him.
Well, he wants very much to demonstrate that this is a creative product, not unlike what you can do with an Adobe, the canvas, so to speak. And I think that Jensen...
But I don't understand. They make chips. How are they offering this product? They're getting into the consumer market?
Because it's a software stack. That's why all these people who keep saying
and I get it.
that it's going to run out. It's a software company.
I understand
It's
that.
not, I mean, and think about all the iterations of software. That's what it is.
This is a consumer product. Like, how are they getting... I don't know. They're not a consumer company.
No, not at all. But you can go to Dell. You go to Michael Dell. You can get this put on. I mean, if you're...
You can get Fugatto.
Look up... Yeah, you can get Fugatto. I mean, if I were Disney, I'd get Fugatto.
Oh, my gosh. It reminds me of what Affleck told you about the effects business.
Yes.
What must they be saying at Skywalker Sound today?
I mean, well, David Ellison, listen, we don't really know the strategy, so to speak, at Paramount when he takes over, but you've got to believe a lot of it will involve this. In other words, using AI in effective ways. Now, Affleck will tell you can't replace people and the creative process, but
Benioff said that
you certainly can replace many different things in the actual process of movie making that will make it more efficient.
Well, I think Jensen's about making everybody be able to be creative. Just like Shantanu Narayan from Adobe. You get that, and we can have people who are sitting around trying to become the next Sondheim, and bingo. I mean, Sondheim was unbelievable.
The Adobe analog makes perfect sense. Why then is NVIDIA down 3 since the election and S&P's up 3?
Well, NVIDIA had a lot of hot money in it, and NVIDIA goes down when they report the quarter because there's a lot of people who really, they're in it for the quarter because they had that May quarter last year where the stock had one of the biggest advances in history. And they keep thinking that if they play NVIDIA, it's going to happen again. And my advice to them is stop playing. Be serious investors. Don't trade NVIDIA and figure out what NVIDIA does besides being my late dog.
Should they be in the software stack or the chip stack?
They just need to know that it is a software company. It is a software company, and that's what's so great about it, and that's why it's not going to run out. And by the way, Amazon, can we just, if I have to read one more story about Amazon doing a NVIDIA killer, ask Andy Jassy, particularly during that Friday game. They're not. They're trying to make enough chips because Jensen says, I can't. I wish I could make more chips for you. I'm so sorry. But Zuckerberg gets them, and we get AI, and we Indonesia.
Musk got some XAI.
So they don't have enough. So what's Amazon supposed to do? Just sit around and say, you know what, we're screwed?
So your point is they're not really creating a competitive chip to NVIDIA.
Yes, and Amazon has yet to endorse the AMD AI chip. When you see that, then I might say that there's a bit of competition.
Do you think, Jim, that there's any weakness in NVIDIA as a result of this, I discussed yesterday, the deceleration in the rate of improvement for these foundation models, they're pre-training?
Not. No, absolutely not, because it's all about any one of what video is going to be. And video is, these people are not understanding video. I mean, the idea that you can go and look at every single picture ever and then decide how to pitch a perfect game and look, your son's a pitcher, that's why I mentioned. Or a quarterback. Your son's like everything. He's a quarterback.
He's nothing anymore. He's a working man now. That's all he is.
Don't ever say your son's nothing.
No, we're on TV. You know what I mean. He's no longer.
But he's scarred by that.
He's no longer participating in organized athletics for his college teams. Yes, so he's done with that.
Okay, but I'm just saying that NVIDIA is not the company people think. NVIDIA is about trying to figure out, as Jensen did with this, how to do video, how to think beyond what we currently think. And it can go down. It's up a lot, but it's still up more than almost every stock.
In the ever-evolving world of technology, where groundbreaking achievements often seem to be a daily occurrence, something truly revolutionary has emerged. Imagine a tool capable of combining the charm of a maestro with the capabilities of cutting-edge technology, all orchestrated by the formidable forces of Nvidia Corp. This isn't just another tweak in the audio landscape. Today, we pivot our focus on a remarkable breakthrough that has the potential to reshape not just our soundscapes, but fundamentally alter how we interact with music, voice, and audio. The generative AI model known as Fugatto. Nvidia has once again cemented its place as a leader in technological innovation. Prepare to dive deep into a sonic realm crafted by magic and machine, where artistry and engineering coalesce in a symphony orchestrated by algorithms and creativity. This journey promises not merely an auditory transformation, but a revolution in the very essence of auditory experiences across industries. Welcome back, everyone, to Investocracy.
NVIDIA unveiling a new AI audio generator today dubbed Fugatto, saying the program can create entirely new sounds. Won't be released to the public, but NVIDIA is betting that the demo will help inspire customers to push the limits of AI. Our Deirdre Bosa has more in today's Tech Check. Tell us about this, Deirdre.
Okay, well, Sarah, AI-generated audio, let me first say that's not new, but in creating never-before-heard sounds, Fugatto does represent a leap forward. Here's an example from NVIDIA's demo. This is a saxophone howling, then barking, then electronic music with dogs barking. You can only hear it to believe it. Now, NVIDIA isn't exactly known as a consumer product company, and it does not have plans to make this tool widely available, but that's not the point here. NVIDIA has a long history of creating products as part of its own moonshot factory that's meant to inspire its customers or create new products or lead to the evolution of its own technology. Like its Android-based Shield back in 2013, this was a portable hybrid gaming console that was a niche product, but it helped lay the groundwork for mainstream consoles that would come later, like the Nintendo Switch, which is also a hybrid console and used the Nvidia Tegra processors. NVIDIA's own DGX, this is its supercomputer in a box for AI tasks. It was created in part from learnings from a Shield streaming box, also part of this Project Shield. It would get NVIDIA familiar with supply chain management and hardware-software integration that has been so crucial for modern-day NVIDIA. Jensen Huang recently spoke about this on a podcast with ARM CEO Rene Haas. At the time, they say it was utterly unobvious that there was a market fit for this Shield product.
It was my excuse to turn NVIDIA into a systems company.
Yeah.
And people will ask me, the DGX1, which is the computer that changed everything.
Right.
Well, how did that come about? Well, DGX1 is just a very large shield.
DGX is now, of course, a cornerstone of the NVIDIA ecosystem and critical to its AI leadership. The first one, by the way, hand-delivered by Jensen Huang himself to OpenAI back in 2016. Going back to Fugatto, though, guys, and what it could inspire: creative music composition, new soundscapes in Hollywood movies, more immersive VR worlds, advertising campaigns. The idea is that someone out there seeing or hearing that demo that we showed you guys a part of might go back to NVIDIA and ask to learn more or build on top of it. But also, as is often the case in generative AI, Fugatto could raise new ethical and legal questions like copyright and misuse. And that was part of the reason NVIDIA says that it's not releasing it widely. But guys, it's a bit of insight into how products like these have helped NVIDIA sort of last through different eras, from crypto to gaming, and now the undisputed AI leader.
The artistic community, Dee, because it's definitely going to feed the argument that all of AI is just building on top of stolen work, they would say.
Exactly. And I mean, there's two camps here, right? Saying that generative AI is going to inspire more creativity. It's going to be a type of co-pilot or an agent that creates new things. But you're right, all of the underlying source material, at least right now, comes from something else, comes from something that may be copyright or created by someone else. When you move into the idea of synthetic data, synthetic sounds, that's still sort of built on existing, ownership pieces that are out there. So it raises all those questions, but it's also likely to lead to a lot of new creativity, new sounds, as we heard. Maybe some more useful than a saxophone barking and howling with electronic music.
NVIDIA's latest marvel, Fugatto. doesn't just create sound, it weaves it. This generative AI model, officially christened the Foundational Generative Audio Transformer Opus 1, is many things wrapped into one: a composer, a sound engineer, and an audio artist. Fugatto's abilities are broad, allowing it to reinvent audio in ways previously deemed impossible. Picture a trumpet emulating a barking dog or a tequila-inspired mariachi set with a Nordic twist, all tasks comfortably within Fugatto's wheelhouse. The model empowers musicians, developers, and content creators by enabling sound creation and transformation through simple text and audio prompts. Think of it like playing Beethoven using a smartphone app, an evolution that brings high artistry into the hands of anyone, anywhere. But before Fugatto could serenade the tech world, Nvidia's team, spanning several countries, had to embark on a colossal training regimen. Armed with a 2.5 billion parameter generative transformer, trained meticulously on Nvidia DGX systems boasting 32 H100 Tensor Core GPUs, Fugatto learned from an extensive library of millions of audio samples. This ensured Fugatto not only speaks in a multitude of musical tongues, but does so with grace and precision, matching any human counterpart. But before we go any further, if you want to keep up with Nvidia's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times daily about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market, so click the follow button if you don't want to miss the newest market updates.
So we're now a little bit away from Nvidia and earnings. What do you make of the price action in that stock since, and about mega caps going forward?
Yeah, I think what's happening in Nvidia, 3 months ago I was on this show with Adam Parker, and the stock was at $100, and it had gotten absolutely decimated. And both of us were like, it's going higher. It's 36% higher than it was then. So are people taking money out of Nvidia and spreading it across into financials? And sure they are.
Are they going to continue to do that?
They probably will. However, if you look at Nvidia from here on out, I think Nvidia becomes a star performer again as we move forward.
Why so?
Because everyone's going to want to own it for the Blackwell ramp. The numbers are still, it trades at a sub-market multiple on 2026. That is not an appropriate valuation for a company like Nvidia. So can it rest for a little while? Sure, but just be patient.
Are you as confident in the other names?
Look, I think all of them, if you look at the valuations for the Mag 7s, most of them are quite palatable. When you talk about Amazon or Meta, Microsoft, and several of them have rested. And you want to actually see some of these companies rest and their price rest before they start to make the next move.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you soon.
Fugatto's applications transcend music, stretching into fields like advertising, education, and gaming. Imagine a world where advertisers can tailor voiceovers to perfectly match regional markets, or educators can provide personalized learning experiences with voices familiar to the audience. Game developers, meanwhile, are gifted with the ability to modify or generate audio assets dynamically, crafting meticulously detailed gameplay experiences that react to the player's every move, creating a truly immersive environment. This breakthrough comes at a time when Nvidia is already riding high, with its stock surging by an astronomical 186% year-to-date. This soaring trajectory was bolstered by their latest earnings, which reported a massive third-quarter revenue of $35.1 billion, soundly beating expectations. Calls for encores echoed through the industry as Nvidia announced anticipated fourth-quarter revenue of $37.5 billion. This crescendo of success can largely be attributed to Nvidia's dominance in AI and data center technologies, areas where their innovative prowess continually shapes the world's digital landscape. Despite the complex financial theories that might surround Nvidia's immense rise, the simplistic humor of the stock market can be captured in the classic quip, "Why did the stock market break up with the bond?" It lost interest. Yet Nvidia isn't losing interest anytime soon, with analysts highlighting robust demand for its Blackwell and Hopper product lines. For those investors looking to wade into Nvidia's world, opportunities await in the ProShares Ultra Semiconductors, USD and EA series, Trust Drive US Semiconductor, ETF Shock. It seems Fugatto's debut is merely another brilliant note in Nvidia's symphony of success, a vivid illustration of how strategic technological advances continue to resonate through financial markets and beyond. But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
And I think at some point what we've seen other times is software has actually followed semis, and I think that's happened again. I think software, ton of upgrades this week, but we heard it from everybody, from Snowflake, even Datadog, who I think 6% of their ARR is actually an AI customer base, yet that base tripled in the last year. That's the kind of thing you do in software, and none of these valuations make sense. And we've talked about this with Palantir. I think it was 38 times forward sales, which is absurd. But the argument here is that if you're playing AI, you're playing it through the enablers, and software platforms have different ways to do it. And frankly, that's the way a lot of the consumers are reaching out, but more importantly, enterprise is happening right now. And I think it continues.
Bonawyn, thoughts on the broader market hitting new highs on the Dow, the S&P within a hair of 6,000, or pick up on Tim's thinking on the semis versus software?
So I'm going to be defensive and offensive.
Okay.
So I'm going to avoid the question first and then answer it second.
Very nice.
So in terms of the broader market, listen, I think we're in essentially an everything rally right now. Going into the Nvidia print, I think a lot of us spoke about how we were a bit concerned about that. We'd like to see it perhaps trade a little flat, or perhaps just be a bit more defensive in terms of posturing before going into that print. I think that kind of explains the move that we saw post earnings, because it was yet another blowout quarter. I think questions about Blackwell supply and ability and back ordering and pull forward of ordering there, I think those concerns have been assuaged. And then in terms of the divergence between what we're seeing from SMH and I Give Up, is, a lot of those names. Let's take Salesforce, for example. The question was, and this is also with some of the hyperscalers, this AI-related CapEx spend needs to be justified. That was the prevailing wisdom at the time. And these companies were coming under pressure because investors really didn't feel like they had an accurate answer to that question. You saw Salesforce trade off, I don't know what it was, 25% post-earnings. And so a lot of those names had gotten beaten up coming into the print. And so that explains a bit of it. It's essentially you have like a star player like Nvidia dragging up the rest of the balance. And so you've kind of been mired in that drag because, again, there's been a massive divergence between AI-related CapEx spend and then CapEx spend going forward.
In this era, as Fugatto takes center stage, Nvidia remains the shining crescendo in the stock market ensemble. Its position is unassailable, with remarkable growth rates and visionary technological leadership that show no signs of slowing down. As Fugatto continues to enchant and innovate in diverse industries, Nvidia stands poised to not only maintain, but propel its position in the marketplace. Experts predict substantial growth ahead, projecting business melodies that will reverberate well into the future. This ongoing success story not only bolsters investor confidence, but also signifies broader shifts in global technological paradigms. Investors, do you hear the opportunity? Nvidia's current standing is not just about stocks and percentages. It's a narrative woven from futuristic flames and sound waves. It's more than numbers. It's the rhythm and resonance of progress, a symphony of achievements that reflect human ingenuity augmented by AI. So what do you think? Will you join the symphony or sit this one out? Share your thoughts with us as Nvidia continues crafting the future, one sound wave at a time. With Fugatto leading the charge, the crossroads of technology and creativity have never been more harmonious. And finally, if you would like to know what companies like Nvidia have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen.